as you are here, is going to be tomorrow evening. You all will be facilitators. Trust me, is the word I think Yogi knows. Love, aapko bhi malum hai shayad. This is a word that was used very interchangeably with anything, teacher, trainer, and not many aspects. In true sense, what it is that we'll get to know. Second class is which teaches 10 top hit Bollywood songs in 2 months. And obviously, the young generation, the budding people, they just flock for that. 10 Bollywood songs, and I'll be able to sing them, I'll be able to do public performance. But what is missing is the basics, the fundamental. Okay? So, I am coming from IAF, International Association of Facilitators. Concretely walk away with is understanding thoroughly what is facilitation and recognize if somebody is facilitating or training. Why? It is a journey that you all would love. You all would love. Trust me, after today, say tomorrow evening, you will not be able to look at your training the way you used to. This is your chance. If you want, you can walk out now. Perspective is bound to change. Bound to change. Completely. One thing is that learning doesn't depend on who is there standing. It depends on who wants to learn. The more questions you ask, the better off you. Survivor and have been through super experience of life and death. I've seen it very closely. As a kind of leadership, outdoor leadership I'm coming from. Everything else I acquired. So it's MBTI, NLP, process facilitation, coaching, all these things I acquired. And so what do I use? What I'm best? I use everything and anything and anywhere. It doesn't have to be a classroom setup. Okay? I mean, if any one of you or many of you are aware of NLP, you'll find me, I'm using NLP at very, very subconscious level. No one is allowed to sit in their own place for more than 5 minutes. Okay.
I'm really very fortunate to be a facilitator in my life. And, I think that one of my great passions is to support facilitator and trainer. This is not to say that trainers are any less. I'm also a trainer. So we should never make that mistake. So trainer actually is a facilitator. I think somehow that it comes like that. It seems like to be a default belief unknowingly. Many times I have noticed there is nothing like that. And we will make sure that each one of you really understands to the extent you want to understand what is the distinction between trainer, facilitator, consultant, coach, mentor, whatever it is.
About facilitation? Yeah.
Yeah, so that is some passion. I would really like that you can really listen, and those of us who are interested in books and their histories can learn facilitation from that point of view, not just a process point of view. But if you are doing a process on consensus, for example, where does first consensus originate? How did the consensus? Who are the people who created consensus process for facilitation? What is the history of it? Where was it used? What did it work? Where did it not work? If you know the history behind that, you become solid. Otherwise, कोई पूछा कि मेरे को वोट नहीं करने का, अभी क्या करूँ? Then you don't know. अच्छा ठीक है मत करो. You know that's very superficial. So, in order to make sure that you understand it at a more, not at a very skin level, but more deeper own level.
Get up from your place. There is a marker kept. I know there is only one flip chart, but then one by one just go and write what's your expectation from this course.
Here.
More of a icebreaker, but we call it deep icebreaker. Okay. What you need to do is on piece of paper.
My trees.
Yeah. Shekhar had given the name for this activity is My Threes, or if you pronounce it in Marathi, it is Maitri.
As in
Okay.
friends.
My Threes. Okay. Why threes? Okay. So here is what you have: paper. Okay. In the center, you write your name. An adjective, something that describes you well. So for me, it is adventurous yati. Okay, or a spiritual shaker, am I right? And around that, okay, typically what we do, I will tell you first, and then what you're going to do now, I'll tell you. Typically what we do is, we ask people to have 3 parameters, mainly 3 things about me, or say, and 3 things, my 3 best achievements. Okay? All these things you're not supposed to write. You have to draw a picture. It have to be vivid picture. Alright? Once done, what you need to do is take this paper, move around the house, move around the room, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Yatin, Adventurous Yatin. This seems to be, sometimes it happens, someone really I want to own Audi car by 2020. ठीक है, यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा कार निकाला और 4 बैंगल निकाल दिया, 4 बांगड़ी. गुजरात में वो 4 बांगड़ी बोलते हैं इसको, मतलब Audi car. Okay, so that's my Audi car, and this is my aspiration. This is what I really want to be, etc., etc. A huge, highly impacting, and it's a process which gets interaction to the deepest possible level for this process per person. And it's a high level corporate, and they're not okay with each other. That time this process works, and I use 3 to 3.5 hours for this process. It will be amazing. Okay. Next 15 minutes, you're going to draw whatever comes to your mind. Balance 15 minutes, you'll move around, introduce yourself. There are 12 different parameters one can use. 3 things I want to change, 3 things I wish, or wish to achieve, my goals, whatever. You can use different parameters. Here, work, I'm proud of, family, my achievements is to learn as much as I can from all of you. Because facilitation is all about eliciting group wisdom. What I know is much lesser than what we all collectively know about each other. And worst, all these beautiful flip charts are courtesy to my good friend Sachin. He's an artist. So he makes all these flip charts. I'm really worse. Don't worry, it's okay. Whatever comes to your mind, just draw. Hold your paper and introduce yourself, saying that this is me, and introduce or explain whatever your graphic means. Max time per person is 1 minute. Then you listen to other person. Once done, move to the next person. Do the same thing.
I'm proud of my culture. While I was reflecting like this, I just put here and I started explaining. So it was much faster, and not to explain in detail what is this. I have the flow in my mind, what I have mentioned here. In that way I found it easier.
Everything set rolling, This moment you think of that one core self, the core being, I think, it was very easy for me to see how it translates in my work, how it translates at my home, how it translates at the level of the things that I'm proud of. And then, that one thing that you need to change because that deviates you from your core or your adjective to self.
Adjectives from everyone. It gave an insight to what actually you are. And I think by the end of the session or by 2 days, we'll have more adjectives added to ourselves.
This is a process in itself. Handwritten, your own name, and it remains there. Very inexpensive way of making, otherwise companies go with the lanyards and, all those things. It calls for a lot of logistical arrangements,
Yeah, that's what she said. There's a lot of introspection while doing it also, because nothing came to the mind at that moment. But when I was observing others and like how much I don't see there are good things or maybe things I would like to change. I have to put it here. I am not aware of it. So yeah, a lot of introspection has kept me thinking like, please go.
Oh my God, ये मैंने ये भी किया था. Oh my God, ये भी किया था. And you have to repeat that 5 to 6 times?
Yeah.
That's where affirmation comes in.
Because yesterday I did another way of introduction to the group which I trained. So I think it's a very good way of getting trained. Because mostly what we do is the introduction is my name is so and so, I work here, my education is so and so. So it's very, very clear. You can't fail in your HR interview. It's like this, where do you stay? I mean, you can't fail there. So that kind of introduction we generally do. But this is a very unique way of looking at it. So I liked it because it gives a perspective from your thinking angle. So I think a lot of people don't think about themselves or what they want to do. And I think this changes, I think we need to work on now. Because this is what we have written down.
Yeah.
Where the people are from different group. Even the same group people also
Yes.
have this very good involvement, and you can start with this icebreaker. So it's a good start. And here are all the creative people, and very short notice. And as I came very last, but I got the chance to introduce maximum people. Thank you.
Why pictures? Why not words? So again, coming back to your points. Why pictures? Why not words?
Visualize it better.
Visualize it better because when you're writing words,
A picture speak
More than
words. What is present in this activity or what was present in this activity which otherwise typically absent in training?
So training generally, the introductory activities or anything that you do would mostly, the first icebreaker will either be a visual or an auditory or a kinesthetic. You won't have a blend of all three, number one. Two, here you, while you are giving a big boundary, like she said, you're also forcing people to think only so much.
The common activities from childhood we have been doing, and one of the activities is drawing. Drawing, music is a very common activity. Then somewhere we, or when we grow, we lose touch. So getting back to that activity is actually fun, excitement, and then you laugh at your own drawings. You're actually bringing out, you're laughing at yourself. I think that is a very wonderful thing which we need to do.
As a facilitator, whatever activity you are going to do in your class or workshop, you should master first. So if you don't know how to do it, and you cannot say anybody to do on this aspect. So for learning, if we have to do this in our workshop, first we have to prepare ourselves how we can do this. Then
So this plays as your first-hand experience.
Yes.
That's what again.
It really helps them rather than talking slides over slides and presentations over presentation. This is very short, crisp, yet very focused. So you, like pictures speak 1,000 words. You don't need to use those 1,000 words, and the impact is already done there.
but at multiple levels,
Yeah.
you can use it a lot with the clients and even on a one-on-one basis because it brings about the, we kind of fret and fume over a lot of things and stuff, but the moment you identify what it is and what are the paraphernalia, it's very clear. It brings about a lot of clarity. So it's a checklist kind of thing which can be repeatedly done with self and others for various different applications.
No.
it's an area of improvements. We can say that is the biggest person has to say.
It is based on appreciative inquiry. So that's where we go by what has worked for me in life. Okay? I think you need to have a good rapport with the client because it is difficult to come down to pictures directly, and this is, this is couple of layers below. It's not surface thing, and people don't leave their social mass so easily. It would take some amount of, either you're somebody who's like at a higher level and whatever you say people will take it, or you really need to have a rapport. I have used it effectively with organizations, existing employees working together for 5 to 10 years, still don't know much about it. After this activity, many aspects came and their way of looking at each other changed. Now, after 6 years, we expect person to know really well each other, but that was not.
But there are people who wrote that they want to achieve this at the level of the world.
I said somewhere the positive stuff, if you check very well inside. Your name and adjective. That's where I said you on a positive note.
Yes.
So that's the reason. It again goes back into appreciative inquiry, where you talk about what has worked for you, what's positive, and who you are. How have you reached till here?